If you were a dingleberry, I'd pick you first. Did you fart? Because you blew me away. Are you my pinky toe? Because you're cute, and I'm probably going to bake you on my coffee table later. This page is hilarious. Shout out to official Bad Daddy on Instagram. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is how I get ready to film these videos and add a little bit of lightheartedness to it. So, as promised, I said I was going to share my DEXA scan results. If you guys follow me on other social media platforms, I have talked a little bit about this. It's actually been almost 2 years since I've done a DEXA scan, and I got the results right here. So, I actually am quite happy with my starting place for this cut that I'm about to do. This, full transparency, DEXA scan is almost a month old because that's how long it took me to film this video. But I'm going to share it anyway, and I'm probably gonna do another scan at the end of July to see what like an 8-week progress is for me. But what's really cool, this is a company called DEXA Fit. It's the company that I have most of my clients, if they have one locally, to go to because of the accuracy and the reporting that it provides. So as you can see, you've got lots of charts. And I found across the board, the accuracy is just, let me back up. There's always some discrepancies with these like in-bodies and bod pod and even calipers. I think the studies show there's a 3 to 5% error depending on which you use and how the machine's calibrated, how proficient you are at using the machine, all these other variables. So I do find across the board they tend to be a little bit off. So I personally prefer looking at someone's actual physique to get better estimations. I've been doing this a long time, so when I look at a client's photos, I can pretty much estimate with the same accuracy what their body fat percentage is. But DEXA Fit, I think they're a franchise. I'm not 100% sure about that. So if you guys know anything about that, let me know in the comments. You can go to their website and search locations and find one hopefully near you that you can go to. The machine that they use is actually a lay down bed, and a scanner comes over your body. They say it can take up to 15 minutes depending on the size of your body. I think mine took less than 5 minutes to do because I am quite lean. I'll share those numbers with you guys here in a second. And it's really great because not that this is the end all be all, but it does give you some starting points for just measurements. At the end of the day, I do think that looking at your physique, how your clothes fit, how you feel in your body, I think that beats any data that you could look at, aside from obviously having healthy blood work and healthy markers across the board from a medical perspective. But looking at these numbers for me, I think is really fun because it does show progress. And in my case, maintenance, which was my goal. If you followed me for a while, I am not all about crash diets, fad diets. I do compete. You guys have seen some of my contest prep videos, but that's not my life. That's not my whole lifestyle. My objective since I started in fitness was developing a healthy, fit body that I really just enjoyed being in year round. I could put on anything in my closet. If I go shopping, I'm not apprehensive on trying something on because, oh, maybe it won't fit. I just wanted to feel really good. And that was really my motive when I started in fitness. It wasn't to step on a competition stage or anything like that. It was really just to feel good in my skin. And also not feel like I had to hyper restrict, like I couldn't eat food, can't travel, get anxious at restaurants, all of that stuff I used to experience. And to me, the win is to not worry about those things all the time. And I believe that that is true fitness freedom and really the goal at the end of the day. So I'm gonna go through the numbers And I'm curious if you guys have any experience having your body fat tested or anything like that. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'm curious to know what your experience was with this. So first of all, what I'm really happy about is my overall body fat percentage did come in at 13% total. And it does show since my last scan. Let me go to that page. There's so much stuff in here. It does show, so first of all, I was 39 years old when I had my last scan done. I was 1 week out from a fitness competition, and my body fat percentage at that time was 9.7%. And truth be told, I do think that I could have been another 1.5% leaner, just to bring my legs in a touch, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But I was 9.7%. A week out from my competition. I currently sit at about 13%. I was estimating before I even did this test that I was consistently around 12 to 14%. And I have actually maintained this body fat percentage. I travel, I actually train way less, usually 3 to 4 days a week, doing absolutely no cardio, which I wouldn't say is a badge of honor. It's more that I just work a lot, and I don't prioritize cardio, I prioritize my lifting sessions. And I don't follow a really strict meal plan. I have been eating how I eat, and I like my meals, so I have a really good cadence of how I put my food together, and I'm very consistent with that year round. But I have extras here and there. I go out to restaurants. I don't filter myself when I order food. I order what I want to order. I would say I probably do err on the side of healthier choices, for lack of a better word, but that's just the foods I like to eat that I feel good. So, and that's honestly, I think, just habits that you develop over time, and a palate that you develop. So I'm only 3.3% body fat up from almost 2 years ago, and I think that's awesome. So I'm definitely not shredded right now, but I am on the leaner side. I did also have my blood work done on this same day, and my numbers are, I think the doctor he was very happy with my numbers, and I think one comment he said on the phone to me was, he's like, you don't like sugar, do you? Something on my report indicated that I don't consume much sugar. That's what he concluded, and I really don't. As a woman in midlife, I would absolutely say sugar is not the devil, but I do think that more women in their midlife ages consume way too much sugar on a day-to-day basis too frequently, and I think that for me, has helped me maintain a nice tight waist as I've gotten older. It's not because I avoid carbohydrates. I eat a lot of carbohydrates. I don't consume a ton of sugar. So that would be my number one tip for you. If you're like, how do I tighten up the waist? I would really look at your sugar intake. So what's really interesting about this too, so my weight is only up, I think it was up 4 pounds, and I was down, so my body fat was up about 4 pounds, and I was down 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds of muscle. So the week before my last competition, my lean mass, by the way, is not just muscle tissue, it is everything that's not fat. Not fat and not bone. So we're talking your organs, blood plasma, that kind of stuff, hair, all of that gets factored into your lean or fat-free tissue. So I was 130.5 pounds of lean mass on my last DEXA, August 2023. I'm currently 128 pounds of lean mass. So minus 2.5 pounds, but what's really interesting about this is I lost most of that from my legs, which some people might cringe at that, but I intentionally wanted to lose that. I was feeling that my lower half was a bit dominant, and I know all the ladies want to build glutes, want to build legs, all the stuff, but I'm all about balance and symmetry. So I like to have balanced top to bottom proportions and have just that symmetry all the time. While I do have fuller glutes, I do have enough mass in my upper body to kind of balance that out. So I was feeling that my legs were becoming more dominant, and my objective since my last competition was to bring that down. So mission accomplished. I did lose 2.5 pounds from my legs only. And my upper body mass, I actually lost almost no lean tissue. So what would I contribute that to? First of all, my upper body training doesn't change a whole lot year round. From when I was in contest prep versus the last 20 plus months of lifestyle, maybe 21 months of lifestyle, I am just really consistent with my upper body training. So volume is about the same, intensity is about the same, so not surprised. I didn't lose any muscle in the upper, but in the lower, I basically stopped training quads. Would you say that? Basically stopped training quads. I hit them lightly through leg pressing, through some squats, but like I stopped doing heavy leg extensions. I stopped doing heavy hack squats. I used to really grind on those two machines, and I pretty much stopped that altogether. So while I did lose that little bit of muscle, I wanted to lose that muscle. So again, mission accomplished. My total weight from August 2023 was 151.8, sitting at 155 pounds right now. So again, I didn't gain a ton of weight and very little fat mass, about 5 pounds of fat mass, almost 6 pounds of fat mass, and down 2 pounds of muscle. So that explains those numbers. I found that to be really interesting, but at the same time, when I sat down and reflected on it, all of that was very intentional. And that's what I tell my clients when I'm working with them on what does maintenance look like? What does it require to build? All these things. When you're in the thick of it, you don't really realize, is this working? Is it not working? Until you give it enough time and zoom out and look at the numbers. And if you were acting with intention with your programming, with your nutrition, if you're intentional about how you're prioritizing muscle groups, the results will show. And this is 100% proof. I will throw some photos up so you guys can see what I'm talking about in terms of size of my legs and how I'm bringing that down just gradually. And what's really cool, my visceral fat, this is kind of funny. So visceral fat, around the waist, I was literally at 0 for the competition. I think my body fat percentage on my waist was like 3% or something. So I don't carry a lot of fat there at all anymore. And I'm only up 0.2 pounds still, which is kind of wild. Those are the biggest markers that I would say are really, this was one I'm gonna explore a little further. My bone mineral density, the primary reason why people do DEXA scans are to look at the, body composition, but it was really initially designed to look at your bone density. So my bone density, and I am almost 2 years older, so 39 to 41, I was 6.6 pounds of bone, and now I'm 6.9 pounds. So my bone mineral content has gone up, which is great, and I'm older. So just goes to show you lifting weights over time is gonna help you sustain that as you get older. And I'm really interested to see how this pans out as I'm doing my mini cuts this summer. I'm gonna do another scan at the end of July, and then probably another one at the end of August or early September. So about every 6 to 8 weeks, because I am in a dieting phase right now, and I just wanna really keep a tight eye on what's changing. I am already quite lean. So for those of you who are not familiar with female body fat percentages, what's considered normal or healthy for an adult woman is somewhere between 22 to 28% body fat. As you're pushing 30% body fat, you are pushing that overweight range, but 22 to 28% body fat is considered healthy for a female. Below 22% is not unhealthy, it's just something that you see more with women who are athletic and athletes. And then where I'm at right now, I'm definitely on the lower end of that. And when I get lower for competition, again, that is for a purpose. It is a limited time frame that I'm that low. I might be, 8, 9% body fat getting ready for a competition. But I do like to stay in the low teens. And I have been there for a long time. My cycle is normal, my blood work is normal, everything flying colors. And what I would attribute to that is that was not accomplished through an extreme diet or in a short-term 12-week phase. It was something that progressed over time as I built muscle tissue and gradually brought body fat down. And so when you do it that way, your body has time to acclimate and get your systems normal. Versus if you ever hear of a woman go, oh my gosh, I did this diet and I lost my cycle and blah, 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 especially if they're competitors and they say, oh, bodybuilding ruined me. It's often because they tried to go from 25% body fat to low teens or even in the single digits in 12 to 16 weeks. So they're losing, I mean, there's no textbook on the planet that would recommend losing body fat that quickly. 1 to 2% per month. Oh my God, get this on camera. By the way, hold that thought. I will have to do another video to introduce this little guy. Say hello. This is Gimli. Are you getting into my shoes? He's getting into my new shoes. Hello, buddy. Oh, he's so sweet. He's about 13 pounds total. So this is our new addition to our family. This is Gimli. He is a lilac French bulldog. And we've only had him for 2 months, but I do need to do a whole video to introduce him to you guys. All right, buddy, we gotta finish our video. Okay, he's determined to be in the video, so we're gonna let him hang out. So again, dropping 3, 4, 5% body fat a month for a female is not recommended, and yes, you will have hormonal imbalances at that point. You will have cycle imbalances or disruptions, and probably a host of other issues, thyroid issues, all kinds of stuff. So I look at fat loss as it should be, roughly 1 to 2% body fat per month loss. And anything greater is gonna not only disrupt your body's systems, but it's gonna be very difficult to maintain or sustain after the diet. Those are the people that you typically see have massive rebounds afterwards. But again, if you're a female who is looking like, hey, I wanna look toned, I want to have, and by the way, I don't love that word, but if you wanna look like you have definition, yes, you have to build the muscle so that it's there to see it, and then you have to bring body fat down low enough to see it. And for most women, I would say that's gonna be in the high teens, potentially, depending on how much muscle you have, could be a little bit lower. That's what most women are pointing to and saying, I wanna look like that, right? They're looking at something in the teens, which again, can be very healthy for a female, can be very sustainable for a female when it's done correctly and given ample amount of time. So I'm very happy with my DEXA results, and again, it's not the end all be all, but it gives me some benchmarks to see, like, am I floating in the right direction? If you're somebody who's looking at like, when should I get a DEXA scan, I do have some rough guidelines for when you should be doing this. I do believe at the start of a diet phase is a great time to do it, and at the end of a diet phase, you'll get a really good gauge for your body fat percentage. There might be some discrepancies with your lean mass report, because typically when people are dieting, their water in their body is lower because they're consuming fewer carbohydrates. So water in the muscle tissue is more depleted, and that affects the numbers. The tests are highly sensitive to water fluctuations. So again, when you book a test like this, they'll give you instructions on going in fasted, making sure you didn't train the day before, making sure you're not on your cycle. All these things that affect water, you want to neutralize those things and then take the test. At the end of the diet phase, again, if your body water is low, it might show that you lost more muscle than you did. So another time to then take the test would be start of the diet phase, end of the diet phase, and then end of your reverse diet. The reverse diet is the process of bringing your calories back up to maintenance. So they should be back up to where you were when you started the diet, but your body fat is now lower. And if you're not familiar with reverse dieting, that is the process again of bringing your calories up, but maintaining your new low weight. You should not be gaining 5, 10, 15 pounds in the reverse diet. You should be maintaining your weight within a few pounds. If you are gaining a lot of weight in the reverse diet process, you are no longer reverse dieting, you are building, or you're just getting fat. I just gotta say it that way. So after you've completed a reverse diet and your calories are back to maintenance, then you can do another scan, compare that to your starting place, and that's going to give you more apples to apples because it'll show your body fat reduction, but your carbohydrates consumption and water consumption should be equated, and that will be a better, like I said, apples to apples of your true lean mass. I'm not going to get into it today, but in the dieting process, there is a potential of losing muscle. So again, that's something that I'm going to be keeping a tight eye on as I'm doing this diet phase and putting everything in place to prevent losing muscle. But that can happen, and that's very individualized. So not going to get into that topic right now because that could be another 30 minutes, but hopefully this video sheds some light on some of the things that you look at when you are doing body composition tests and measurements and sort of what to expect. If you guys have questions or you want me to dive deeper into this, go ahead and comment below, let me know. I will keep you posted as I go through my mini cut this summer. In future videos, I'm going to be documenting a little bit more of my food, what I'm doing in terms of my training, and all the good stuff. So let me know what else you guys want to see, and I will keep you posted on the next DEXA update.